House of Time is performing the third edition of Transcendent Bach this week on Friday and Saturday nights. I can't wait to perform Bach's Chaconne for you and to introduce our new cellist, Matt Zucker, in the wonderful G major cello suite. We have 3 new versions of Bach trios to perform for you. House of Time makes a specialty of them, and you may wonder, where do we get all this music?
Bach left us precious few actual trio sonatas. Trio sonata is a work written in 3 parts, where 2 instruments like violin and flute, or 2 violins, or violin and oboe, take the top lines, and then there's a bass line, and then a 4th person is required to flesh out the harmonies on the harpsichord or the lute or the organ. So ironically, as those of you that come to our concerts know, it takes 4 people to play a trio sonata in Baroque style. Now, Bach also left, about 20 works that I call the imaginary trio sonatas that look for all the world like trio sonatas on the page, but are actually for 2 people. Say a violin and a harpsichord is the right hand and the left hand playing 2 out of the 3 voices. Or, in the most extreme case, the organ trio sonatas, where 1 performer takes voice number 1, voice number 2, and voice number 3 is in the feet. And Bach requires the listener to furnish a lot with the imagination, to begin with, to bridge the gap between, say, a violin and a harpsichord. The most articulate violin will never sound like the most lyrical harpsichordist. The listener has to make that equivalent. Same with the missing harmonic continuo that you don't actually get there. And in the case of the viola da gamba sonatas, you even have to imagine that the viola da gamba is playing an octave higher than it actually is. And this whole process actually works. It works the way in a good street performance of a popular song where the listeners know the original recording really well. They can furnish some things that aren't necessarily in that performance, but make the whole thing more enjoyable. So Bach was asking something like that of us. And so what we do is make those things perfectly audible and flesh it out in the way that a normal trio sonata would work. Therefore, it's not exactly an arrangement, but more of a transfer to the more normal vehicle that Bach was actually referencing.
When Gonzalo proposed playing repertoire from the violin and harpsichord sonatas, I was so skeptical and self-conscious, because that's my repertoire. But when we started playing together with the violin and oboe and continuo, I really said to myself, wow, this is cool. I can hear all the voices, nothing gets lost, and we can perform in a big church or a hall and everything is heard. For me, that's the way to perform them.